So Om Namah Shivaya, good morning. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Many people tune in from Asia and different other places. And today the translator, Vietnamese translator is Taravati. Yes? And
Yes.
Any other translator there?
Ambika,
No,
Chinese.
only one language.
Ambika, Chinese.
Any? Ambika? Ambika is translating in Chinese. And the Japanese translator is sitting in front of me. Okay, very nice. So today the topic is very important topic, or the topic on what is ego, egoism, and how to purify. Okay? So we need to have at least an idea, and then we can practice. If not, we have to learn through hard lessons. It's better to know before and to practice than to suffer. So now, what is ego? So ego is part of our instrumentation in our journey, our equipment, if you like, our equipment. We're equipped with it for us to use in our journey toward our ultimate goal, which is self-realization. Huh? So ego in Sanskrit term is called ahamkara. Ahamkara. What is it? It's you can say it's a principle of self-assertion, or of self-identification. It's a sense of I. It's the most meaningful thing that we follow in our life, I. So we got that since we take birth in this body, yeah, not in the beginning, but the baby, grow up, and I don't know, 1, 2 years old, already exploring the I. Then the baby eat his thumb or his toes and say, mine. Touch around and say, yeah, recognize this is me, this is mine. So he start to, like this, recognize his own body as himself. And then it become more complex, right? And then it become my friend, my toys, my mother, my family, like this. So it's very, very ingrained in us, very deep idea. We're born with that. Why we're born with that is we're born in a human body equipped with intellect. Our intellect gives us a sense of, we call self-awareness. We start to know, who am I? But the idea is, we attribute the who am I to the body and mind, which are our instrument, according to the scriptures of yoga. I don't invent it. According to the scriptures of yoga and of Vedanta, the body and mind that are equipped with, we are equipped with, are our instruments. And it is not ourselves. And when we identify with it, thinking it is ourselves, then it's distort the reality. It put us on a wrong track to understand ourselves in relation to the surrounding, to other people. And from there come a lot of problems. So we have to learn our lessons, very hard sometimes, yeah, in order for us to wake up. So the teachings say everything is actually is a test. If we understand that lesson or not. So somebody saying, you know, I'm going to the school of hard knock. What is school of hard knock? I mean, if I hit my head somewhere, and I say, okay, I should not go there. And I hit my head somewhere else, I say, oh no, okay, pay attention. Yeah. So maybe this is your way, but there is other way. Another way is the path of self-knowledge. Try to understand it and then try to practice something so you can avoid. Yeah? You avoid the suffering before it comes. So the problem is our self-awareness is always attached to the idea of something particular about us, because ahamkara or ego is a principle of self-assertion, but also of assertion of oneself in comparison to others that are different than oneself. See? So the assertion of one's difference. And you know that the goal of yoga is to find the oneness. Yeah? I say we know, but really we don't know. The scriptures say that the goal of yoga is oneness. Is how to find ourselves being one, how to open up so that we can be with some, how to stay away from our egoism. So that's the goal of yoga. And the struggle that we have is always that. For everybody, it's always that. Go back to the old track of the idea of believing of who am I, or maturing and evolving to embrace a new idea of the I that is more evolved, that is more embracing another reality that is different than what we think that who we are. So the idea, the yogis oftentimes, Swamiji oftentimes talk about the me and the mind. Yeah? So in our language, all the time we say me and we say mine. We say I. We love the I. We love to say I. Is it not? I this and I that and I this and I that all day long. We love it. But we do not know that the more that we say the sense of I, the I is attached to our history, the I is attached to our pain, the I is attached to our struggle, the I is attached to certain very, very deep ideas that we have about ourselves and that need to be changed, transformed. Because when we attach to this idea about ourselves so deeply, the lessons will come all the time. Yeah, to try to help us to modify or to transform this idea about ourselves. Any kind of attachment, any kind of attachment. If you're attached to some kind of hurt, some kind of idea of hurt or some kind of hurt in the past, then it is said it's very difficult for you to be happy. What is the reason why? One cannot be happy because one is attached to something, to some blemish or to something in the past, or is attached to some idea of oneself that is different than others and that is peculiar to ourselves. The moment that we are attached to that, some sticky idea, some kind of habitual thought, then we cannot be happy. So that's a consequence. We cannot be happy because we cannot find ourselves. Because it cannot, that mind that is like tainted or has some kind of scar or has some kind of distortion cannot reflect back truly who we are. And that's why we cannot be happy, because happiness is truly our sense of self, ourself. Happiness is our inheritance. So that is called our journey of self-discovery, and healing, self-healing. So consciously, the yogi say that you can purify your mind. You can purify the idea of separation. Ego means separation. The moment that you assert something of yourself that is specifically to yourself, then at that time you separate yourself from others. So our society nowadays is very much based on the ego. So we are taught like this, we're educated like this, we'll grow up like this. Everything is me and mine, and we build up our identity very different than others. So we compete with each other, and we negotiate our way and try to keep our ego as intact as possible and manipulate everything around and negotiate our way so we can get to the goal that the ego has created. So we create this little story of ourselves. We live in little bubbles. And we might achieve certain things, and we might be to some level satisfied with ourselves because of our achievement. But according to yoga, we don't achieve, we call happiness or complete fulfillment and self-awareness and self-realization. So something always is missing in the picture. And then we would remedy to that, a little bit more this, a little bit more that. So we try to compensate, the idea of separation. Maybe, people do some charity. They're a rich person, they start to do some charity. But there's the charity they do is also, ego, full of ego, motivated out of ego. Their name need to be recognized. And, so then it goes in the same direction. Either you give money to be recognized, or you bank money. It doesn't matter, it's the same. The idea is to reinforce your ego. So that's the idea. So when you function out of ego, then our universe is closed. It's a closed circle. This is me, and the universe, this is mine, and this is my world. And then I would take in whatever that I want, Yeah, and I want to reject whatever I don't want. There's always the idea of I. You select, and then you negotiate your way. So even in a interpersonal relationship, it's like this. You negotiate. You give me this, I give you this. You give me this, I give you this. So the lack of selflessness or true love, that makes it we are not happy. There's always a barter, take and give and take, give and take, a barter. Life is like that, it's a barter between me, what I think of I am and what I have, yeah, what I possess, and the world or you, what I think that you have, that I want, then I'm going to give out whatever that I have that you want, and you give me whatever that I want. Okay, so then you negotiate. That's how it works. But this is limited. It makes you makes your happiness conditional, makes your love conditional, makes a sense of self conditional, and you think it's the way to go. But there are some people that say that feel that it's not the way to go. So they take up yoga. The word yoga means union. That means that it's a whole system, a methodology to thin out. I like the word thin out, to make the ego not that thick. Thin out the ego, or to be aware of something that is bigger than the ego. Okay, so the consciousness of the self expand. And that's the whole idea of yoga practice, is the consciousness of the self expand beyond your boundaries, beyond your horizons, and it gives us the sense of freedom, give us a sense of, completeness, fulfillment that we, in the depth of our soul, we are seeking for. So that's a journey. It's not black and white. And you need to recognize where we are from, all this ego attachment to different idea. And then you recognize your journey, how you have to transform yourself. Transforming, that's what it means. Now you have to let go of a certain idea, sometimes very painfully, but we have to eventually, worn out a certain idea about ourselves, get worn out. And then we have to replace it with some other kind of idea that's actually a little bit more closer to the unity or the truth that we are one. So in the textbook, there is this very beautiful design that I wish I can show you. It's the design of the ego bubbles, how it's evolved. How do I show you? So, huh? Oh, okay. That's Swamiji's. Always she gave solution. Hey, maybe shall be one here. Shall be one. Maybe. Okay. So it's a book of Swami Vishnu Devanji, the complete illustrated book of yoga, and it talk about this. Okay, so I put in front of the camera. Okay, so you see this? See clearly? You can pin the video. Pin. Okay, pin. See? Okay. Okay. So now you see this. Okay. So in the beginning, the I is here, and the this means whatever outside of the I, the object is here. Okay. So you have the two very separate. Okay. It touch a little bit. That's where that you negotiate. It touch a little bit. Okay. But it's very separate. I and you, I and the world are very distinctly separated. Okay? So in this case, you cannot be happy. If you seek for happiness, you seek for love, you seek for fulfillment, you cannot be happy. You can increase you can be very smart to increase the bargain, yeah, but still your frame of mind will not allow you to feel the oneness. Okay? And then you go here, you see, so this I and this at least is acknowledged to be in the same circle, in the same world, yeah. So I still very separate than you, but there is a we there that is one. Okay? There's a we. Yeah. So I and you are together in the we. So there's a certain thing that we can together, we are sharing. There's a we. Yeah, and then it increase. I and this touching in the we. Yeah, it become more together, and then the ideal is I and this are one, and it become Om. Om. Okay? The oneness. So this is it. This is our journey. That means this is what is being explained by the yogis as it is our journey. So either we recognize it, we collaborate with it, or not. So some level of us, our consciousness, know that we should not be selfish. And yet we function very much so out of the separation. It's called selfishness, separation. So we need to practice two things, three things, or 1,000 things, but I just summarize. One is karma yoga, which is a selfless service. Okay? When you do selfless service, it's not for the other people. It's for you. And that's the main thing we need to understand. When we do selfless service, is to always act as if I am the other person. So we get out of our sense of self, our sense of limited self. Yeah, my time, my energy. Your energy doesn't belong to you. You know that. Because if you act correctly, have a right thinking, you have tremendous amount of energy. Yeah. But if you become selfish and you calculate your energy, you will see that your energy will be lessen and lessen. Okay. So your time doesn't belong to you. Yeah. Time is a mode of the mind. So when you are happy, you are in that timeless kind of mode. Your time is eternal. You have actually a lot of time. Yeah. So It's our thinking, you see, that is thinking that is my time, that is my body, this is my energy, this is my life. Okay, it's so we need to slowly get out of it. Selfless service, karma yoga. Do everything from small to big, it doesn't really matter. If you do the karma yoga with the idea of mine, this is a problem. You see, you don't get out of that trap. You do the job that you like. I like this, then I do this. Yeah. So then you don't get out of the trap of the I and the mind. Yeah? You're still in the same kind of frame of mind that blocks you from yourself. Okay. So you need to do something, a small act. Yeah. Sometimes they say small act of random kindness. Yeah? I mean, you do small act, yeah, but thinking of, not I am the doer. So the principle of karma yoga is like this, not having the idea I am the doer. Okay. Of course, in our society, everything, we count, we calculate, this is 1 hour, this is, a punch in and punch out, this is my time, mine. Of course, when you are managing your time, then you need to have a certain time for you to go take a shower, a certain time for you to rest, a certain time you are with others and things like that. But understand that you need to work out all the time in the maximum best, the idea of a we, cultivate the we and not the I. Cultivate the oneness, the we. It's very simple. Thinking of we. Right? If some water drop here in front of the floor, then instead of fume and fret who pour the water, then I go and I wipe the water because somebody might step on it and slip. So I do it. It doesn't matter. See? So in life is like this. Plenty of opportunities for us to be selfless with simple action. It's not the big accomplishment that makes you come closer to yourself. That's a false idea because you see, it's been proven that whatever you accomplish, you feel empty. Yeah. And you go after another goal. And again, you feel empty, or the carpet is being pulled under your feet. Yeah. Or what we call the game of cards build up and then it collapse. There is some problem. Yeah. So instead of blaming, that's a problem. Instead of blaming, we have to look inside. And then it takes sometimes, the accident or the hard knock or the hurt or the loss or the difficulty in order for us to wake up and to recognize that we need to change our way. Slowly, we need to open up. We need to replace our framework with something that is more sustainable or is more correct. And that means that we need to be less selfish. We need to be more selfless, less selfish. And because it's all over the place, it's in our life, all over the place, from beginning to end, the sense of I, the sense of separateness is there from beginning to end, from our way of every single moment we are thinking of the I. We're nourishing the wrong I. So that's why the karma yoga is not simple to practice. Even when you eat, you say, I eat. Yeah. But if you apply the principles, I eat for you. Instead of I eat because I like it, because I want to nourish my life. Yeah, this is survival. I want to nourish my life. Yeah, no, you eat for you. I eat for you. I eat so that this body can be maintaining itself, so that I can do service to you. See, it's the intention of not doing anything for your to nourish this sense of separation, but do everything to nourish the sense of oneness. Okay? So I eat for you, I sleep for you, yeah, I enjoy for you. Yeah? So everything you do, you feel that you are doing it, yeah, for, you say you or God. God means you don't know. You can say others. Yeah? Okay? So that's karma yoga, sense of non-doership. And the second wing of the practice is called Bhakti yoga. How to achieve selfless love. Yeah? It's the same, really. Selfless service or selfless love is the same. Yeah? So then with your emotions, you see if you are selfish, and if you have this model of life that is immature, because you never actually grow out of it. Some people, they still act like a kid, right? Even though they are older, but they still act like the kid. They want what they want. When they don't get what they want, they throw a tantrum, and they are demanding, and they it's like a kid. A kid is like this. But eventually, when you mature, you take more responsibility of your peace of mind, of your mind. Yeah? You know that if I'm going to not get what I want, it is because there is a reason for it. So I'm going to accept it. I'm going to bend. I'm going to be flexible, and I'm going to, it will be fine anyway. Yeah. And eventually, when you really grow and mature, then you realize, no matter, and this is the goal of yoga, no matter what happened, what I think that is very bad, or what I think that is very good, no matter what happened, there is always a reason for it, and I better just be fine with it. Yeah, nothing is wrong. Okay? So then you surrender to, we call it God's will. It's not my will, it's God's will. I mean, it's not my idea, but it's something else idea. It's different other bigger picture that is playing out somewhere. And okay, I'm part of it anyway, so I collaborate with it. I'm fine with it. See? So with that, the trust and the faith increase, the love increase, the peace increase, the contentment increase, and you live in collaboration all the time. You live with, you are a partner of something bigger. So you are not, you are a partner with God. So you are not me against God. You see, me against God is the, is the selfish mode of fighting and wanting things to go your way. Yeah, of a signature of a big ego. But eventually, if you can surrender that, you can accept a different way of being. You become more humble. The opposite of egoism is being humble. Ego is ahamkara. Ego is a sense of separateness. Egoism is you follow the principle of the ego. That's called egoism. Okay. When you follow the principle of the ego and it directs your life, you suffer from that important impurity that Yoga and Vedanta said is called the egoism. In Raja Yoga Sutras, it talks about egoism as one of the main reasons of our suffering. And in Vedanta, the same. Egoism is one of the main impurity that we need to face. Okay? And then, so Bhakti Yoga is selfless love. That means the love that doesn't ask anything in return. You love as a gift. You give away something that you don't expect anything back. Okay? And with it is the acceptance, right? You cannot actually practice selfless love if you have conditions. I love you when you're in good mood. I don't love you when you are in bad mood. So that is, again, this condition. So you have to just love as your duty, love as your way of life, and then you, no matter what, you still love. That's all it is. That's called selfless love. Yeah, no condition. The condition is always coming from the ego. Yeah? If you behave like this, I love you. If you don't behave like this, I don't love you. So you take this love as your possession, really, but it's not your possession. It is part of the bigger picture. It's part of the truth of life is love belongs. Love is the goal of life. Love is the way how the whole universe is, how Swami Sivananda said, is the way how the whole universe is built on. The whole universe is built on love. And when you participate in that selfless love, then you would tune into the rhythm of the nature. And then at that time, you will be happy, okay? So Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, how to train ourselves in selfless love. And the last is there's 4 paths of yoga, but I jumped the Raja Yoga, which is how to control the mind and how to bring the mind to one-pointedness and how to meditate. The act of meditation is the oneness right there. When you meditate, how can you successfully meditate? Can you successfully meditate if you have this whole self-concern attitude? You cannot, right? Because you are worrying about this, you're concerned about this, you are planning about this, and all this will make you very agitated. Yeah, so you cannot meditate. You cannot achieve that oneness. Meditation is experiencing oneness, merging of the mind with the absolute. Yeah, you cannot do this when you have the big ego that is so self-concerned. Okay, so the Jnana Yoga is the last path of yoga. How it helps to remove the ego is by self-questioning, called self-inquiry. Whatever you recognize that, because, I let my instrument take over. So the yoga definition of egoism is when you mistake between the instrument and yourself. When your mind, which is an instrument, you believe it to be yourself, and you mistake these two, then it's called egoism. That's a definition according to Patanjali Yoga. So you have to use in jnana yoga, you have to use your intellect, your sharp intellect, in order to separate these two, in order to recognize who are you and what is not you. What is fabricated, not you. Maybe it's a long time, you build up the idea of yourself, but it's still just fabricated. That means it's not eternal, it's not true. Yeah, it is a fabricated idea. So then you distinguish between the two, so you don't fall into the trap of mistaking your own self and the mind and the habits of the mind and the false identifications of the I. The I that identify, that get attached to this and that. Okay, you get so you get hurt. When you get hurt, you have to ask, who am I? You see. So when people call me by a wrong name, my name is a Sanskrit name, and people butchered it quite a bit. So I don't get offended because it's okay. It's just a name. Yeah, I remember I just took a long time ago. I took sannyas. I mean, I have a long, very big name, and then boom, I come back from the initiation, and then they call me by my old name, and then I get a moment, and then the test is passed because I realize it's just a name. Yeah? So you get identified with everything, identify with your position. Yeah, then you have to say, why I think like this, why I feel like this, why I feel people don't respect me. Yeah, I don't need people actually respect. Okay, I need to respect myself. I need to remember myself. I need to respect myself. I don't need anybody recognition or respect. Yeah, because it's all temporary. All the position, name, fame, position is temporary. So then you have to let go of it. It's okay. I am who I am. Doesn't matter. You see? And then, so name, fame, position, you can be attached to, identify with, and what else? Your family, your lineage, your family lineage. What else? You identify with your money. If you have a lot of money in bank account, I am somebody. If you don't have money, then I am small. You see something wrong there? If you don't have money, then you are a small person. If you have money, you are a big person. See? So your identity or your sense of self depends on your possession, on your money. Yeah? That's why people think like this. That's why they try to, at all costs, they try to increase their money. So they feel that they are somebody. Okay? And the people that don't have money, or they don't have a job or position or something, and they feel like, I'm a failure, I'm a failure. You see? So these are our normal way of behavior, but according to yoga, it's not the right thinking, because your value comes from inside of you. Your value is your own self. That gives you the absolute value. Yeah, it's not people's recognition, people's attention. It's none of this. It's your own value. Yeah, and you know that. So that's why you have to love yourself. You have to recognize yourself. You have to respect yourself, and you compose with the world. Yeah, and by being calm and being giving as much as possible, and recognize all the time within yourself there is that oneness that somehow is seems to be invisible, but seems to be the the truest kind of principle that is governing our life. Okay, so more or less, so the 4 paths of yoga is helping you to thin out or to remove the sense of separateness. So you can apply it anytime. Yeah, you just try to feel that you are not alone. And the idea that I'm alone is the signature of your ignorance or your wrong thinking. You are not alone. Your life is supported by many people and many things. Yeah, and you need to feel grateful. This is a good thing to practice. You need to feel grateful all the time, every day. You can write down 5 things that you are grateful for. Yeah? I'm grateful to have the body. I'm grateful to be healthy. I'm grateful for this person to say that to me. I'm grateful for this person in my life. I'm grateful. Okay? So you start your journey. Thank you very much. Om Namah Shivaya. I hope the translation is okay because I talk very fast. Yeah, I forget you, the translator, but she's a professional translator, so she's okay. Thank you. Oh.